You are now entering Now Chat.
There is this equation that mathematicians haven't been able to solve yet.
Mathematicians?
Mathematicians.
Do you mean mathematicians?
James the linguist. James the
Incredible.
linguist.
Mathematician.
This man can speak 2 languages and still can't speak English.
Yeah.
Math
I speak
leads.
French and with your mom.
So
Wow.
French with his mom? Like, you speak French to her?
Yes. So
Good job, Eric.
there's
You
this-
got the joke.
There's this.
That wasn't his joke.
Okay, James.
Eric, James is trying to start a sentence like.
So anyway, stop blasting. No, there's this equation that mathematicians have not been able to solve yet, and by solve I mean like disprove. So if you take any number, if it's an even number, you half it. If it's an odd number, you multiply it by 3 and then half it. Okay.
Sounds like a magic trick.
Yes. So if you take any number and start doing this, it'll eventually reach 0. Any whole number. So if you start with 2, right? 2 divided by 2 and a half is 1. Okay, easy. 3. Okay, 3 times 3 is 9. Then you multiply that by 3, you get 27. You multiply that by 3. Wait, hold on. Is it 3?
Hey Siri. Is James dumb?
No. It's sorry. It's double it and then divide by 3.
Double or
You just said that's not
Double
nice.
you double it and then divide by 3. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah,
So if you
you're
take
right,
3, you
James.
double it, right? It's 6, and then you divide by 3 is 2, and then at 2, then you can half it and it becomes 1. And you can do this with any number, and you
What about
can't.
5?
5. All right, let's try it. 5 multiplied by times 2 is 10. Then you half that. It's 5.
Wait, no, James. I think. Okay, give me 2 seconds because I know exactly
No,
what
divide
James
by
is.
3. Okay. Oh, shoot.
James, I know
And
exactly
this
what you're
myth is
talking about.
busted.
We just solved what mathematicans haven't been able to solve in
Oh,
years.
what about 5? What about 5? The quote that'll be remembered forever.
No, Cameron, find it for me. It's legit. I can't remember what. the
Eric,
equation
you
is.
have to be on our side because it's in a video by Wendover Productions.
Oh, okay.
Can we
But
put-
what about 5? What about 5.1?
Dude,
No,
wait,
whole
what the
numbers.
heck? I can't find it. Maybe it's real life lore. Otherwise, me and James had the same dream.
No. What?
Nah. I saw it in my YouTube shorts today.
You
No, I didn't.
sure?
Logan did. No, Logan did.
Anyway,
Can we put what about 5 on James's gravestone? Yes, please.
okay, that's not important. All right, the equation is important. It's some number multiplied.
Oh my
divided
gosh,
by some
James, it's
number.
3x plus 1.
Oh, it's that.
Complicated.
So if it's an even number, you cut it in half. If it's an odd number, you multiply it by No, that's not it either.
Yeah, you multiply by 3.
Wait,
add
wait.
1.
I think I know
Oh
what
yeah,
it is.
then you multiply by 3 and add 1. And you
Yes.
keep doing it.
Yeah. Okay, so okay, let's try that with 5. You multiply 5 by 3 and add 1, you get 16. Divide that in 2, you get 8, 4, 2, 1. The whole idea is that you take any number, you multiply the 3, add 1. If it's an odd number, if it's an even number, you just cut it in half until it reaches 0. And it's theorized, this is the conspiracy, that the Russians gave it to us in like the 60s, I think. I want to say 60s. The Russians gave it to us to distract us.
That's
Like, gave us that question?
Yeah, they gave us the equation so mathematicians would be caught up with that instead of.
That
What's
is
going on?
amazing.
Wait,
I
but,
love that theory.
Just because I'm a little tired and forgot, what is the question what is the question?
Well, okay, so the equation is if you take any even number, you divide it in half, and any odd number you multiply it by 3 and add 1. The equation that they're trying to solve, basically trying to find a number big enough that it doesn't work. My brother spent a weekend with this equation, and he created a software. He created like a program to run it, and he ran it for 3 days, and couldn't find a number big enough.
So the
No,
question is
zero?
there
I'm confused.
even no, because zero's not a whole number.
It always reaches 1.
It always you're just 1. Oh,
Yeah, it
okay.
always reaches 1.
So the question is there a number big enough, or do all whole real numbers fit into this equation, and it's a
Exactly.
test of not whether or not, like, not how big a number is, but whether or not it's a real number.
It sounds just like a consistency in math.
Well, no, and a
I
real
would
number
say-
wouldn't work. It has to be a whole number. That is part of the equation. It
I
has
feel
to be a
like
whole
there's.
number.
I feel like it's just a pattern that is just being followed.
Well, see, the thing is, there's other equations like this that when you get to a high enough digit, they stop working.
Oh yeah, that is
I mean,
true.
So,
I mean,
so
it's-
the difference is that it literally they have not found a number big enough where it hasn't stopped working.
Exactly. Some of these
Have they tried a
equations-
million?
Yes. Some of these.
Have they tried a million and one?
Yes. Some of these equations that they solve get up to like 10 to the power of like 100,000.
What the freak? How do you even
Yeah.
calculate that?
It's a lot of zeros.
Math.
Computer.
And
Takes a long
so
time.
Yeah. It's
yeah, so they get up to these crazy high numbers, and it keeps working, and then eventually they find a number big enough that it stops working, and they just haven't found one yet for this. And it's been like, is it only? No, it's been like a couple decades.
It's been
So
at
it
least
might not
40
be.
years, if not
Yeah.
more.
So there's probably not a number big enough then.
Well,
Well,
if
it's-
there wasn't a number big enough, then this would be the only equation in math that, like, the only pattern in math that exists among all real numbers like that. Like
Yeah,
all
see,
whole
what-
real
like-
numbers.
Kind of poggies.
So this is fantastic, but I like to think of the fantastical just a little bit more. We've touched on a couple different topics involving conspiracies,
I don't like
but
where this is going.
one that we haven't so far is the paranormal.
Oh my god! Don't get me started.
Never
please
mind.
Don't.
I do like this where this is going.
I'm the one who doesn't like where this is going. My heart started racing immediately.
Dude,
Oh, yeah,
This
Cameron,
you
segue
wanna
is
get me
so
started
much
on this,
smoother
I
than
will
any.
talk about it with you, but I.
that segue was smoother than any James has ever done.
Listen. While we're on the topic of segues,
So I have two different stories that I could touch on. Do you guys want to hear a really interesting theory that can disprove a lot of paranormal circumstances? Or would you like to hear something a bit more personal of a story involving the paranormal that I have?
personal.
the
Option
The
B,
former.
as much as I want
Both is
to
good.
disprove paranormal, I kind of want to hear the story.
So when I was
It
6 years
sounds
old,
good.
my closet started talking to me.
and then it ate me, and I died. But
I
I
realized later it was just my dad.
Oh my god.
Anyways, Jeremiah, go on.
Yeah.
Here's your what?
That
We're
was
gonna
hilarious,
ignore
Caleb.
we're gonna ignore Caleb's weird joke and move on.
Very funny. Very funny.
So speaking of segues, all right.
James, hold back.
So a friend of mine and I were riding our bikes late at night years ago. Back in these olden years, him and I would always go bike riding in late summer evenings. He would come up for the summer. He lived in Kentucky at the time. And so we'd hang out
this-
and we'd often go really late. What's
This
up?
makes it sound like you're from like the 1950s.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
Sorry,
I'm
sorry,
talking,
continue. I'm sorry.
I'm talking quite a few years ago.
He's
but anyways.
talking pre-iPod Touch days, okay?
If the iPod Touch was real.
Nah, I think it was about 2015, maybe? Anyways, if memory serves me right, it was getting pretty close to about 10 at night, so even in the summer, it was pitch black. Outside of the moon, and in our neighborhood, the couple of street lamps that don't light anything. But the plus side is, we live in a safe neighborhood. I still live here. The last major crime, even back then, was committed years ago. So, safe neighborhood, right? And every summer we would ride the same path. So, you know, my point is, there was nothing different about this night than every previous night. There was no cause for alarm or fear. But I started feeling uneasy kind of spontaneously, a tightening in my stomach, and I started just, I don't know, I guess just being more aware of my surroundings, paying more attention. Tonight was no different than the previous, so I just passed it off as anxiety. At this particular year, I was really prone to sudden bouts of anxiety. So as a result, I just kind of learned to reconcile that there was nothing to worry about, and that anxiety would usually go away pretty quickly. But this time, it didn't. I started working up small talk with my friend as we rode, just to try to get my mind off of it, and he seemed completely unaware of what I was worrying about. But unfortunately, the talk didn't help. As we were chatting, he started insisting that we ride into the next neighborhood. It's a trip that we'd taken dozens of times in the same circumstances. It's right next door. It's like a little side alley that leads into a park that leads into that neighborhood. So we started heading that way. I tried to put aside my worries as unfounded. But the closer we got to that neighborhood, the more I felt that tightening grow, the more that fear was amassing. Of course, I kept trying to find some reason to be worried about. Like we were being followed, or there was some obvious sign of danger, like sirens. There was nothing. So I kept trying to ignore it, and ignore it, and ignore it, until we turned a corner. This corner has always been infamous to me ever since. It's one of the few corners in our neighborhood that has one of our street lamps. Surrounding it at its base is a bunch of really tall grass, or at least it used to before they cut it down. But back then, it was tall and lush. As we were turning the corner, I swear to you, and this is about the only weird paranormal thing that I actually genuinely feel as though I witnessed legitimately, not just anxiety. Standing in front of the lamp, but not illuminated by it at all, was a figure standing there, shrouded completely in shadow. And I felt as though it was specifically there for us, watching us. The second I seen it out of the corner of my eye, there was a complete change in my emotions. Instead of just feeling fearful and anxious, you know, that usual anxiety, hyperventilation, tightening in the stomach, all of that went away. And instead, I felt acutely aware that we were going to get in some form of danger. It's not that kind of fear where you're walking in like a forest at night and you think, oh, a bear can jump out at me, so you're just kind of getting worked up. It was the fear of you seeing a bear and it was coming for you. You recognize that the fear or that the danger is present and it's coming for you. It's just like that confirmation feeling. Like you now see it. You know it's there. And that is the feeling that I got. My stomach wasn't tight anymore. I wasn't breathing heavy. It's just I recognized it. Adrenaline started pumping. And I instantly felt like all of my thoughts in my head went to, we have to turn around. We cannot go into this neighborhood. And that's the bizarre thing about it to me. The second I made contact with that thing, my mind went, we have to leave. It wasn't a, oh no, something's gonna get us. It was just, we have to leave or we're going to get into trouble. I tried to put it off because, okay, you've seen something out of the corner of your eye. That happens. It's never real. So I kept going along with my friend, but every inch we got closer, that just feeling of we must turn around kept mounting. Finally, I was like, okay, hey, can we just go home? It's late. And he looked confused, but he was a very understanding friend, so he didn't question it. We turned around. After we turned the initial corner that I seen it and started getting closer to home, every bit closer we got, the less and less I felt like we were in sincere danger. And once we finally got back to my house, all that anxiety, all the worry, all the fear, all of that feeling of we were going to be in danger, gone. I felt normal, like we were safe. I have told that story a number of times over the years, and when I was even writing out this script to retell it in this podcast, I have always gotten a weird chill every time I thought back to
No,
it.
I think it was really good. But what you're saying is to be honest, like I believe you 100% because I have gone investigating to certain places like that, and I have had experiences like that before where if I've entered like a certain room of a place and it just feels off and like you shouldn't be there, and like something happens where like, all right, yeah, you're definitely not supposed to be here, and walk out. Like for example, I'm gonna tell a quick story as well here.
Yeah.
We went to my parents and I went to Ashmore State, which is down south in Illinois, and it used to be home for mentally disabled people, the elderly, and people that generally just couldn't really take care of themselves, and that's where they were put because back in the day, those type of people sadly weren't considered normal back in the day, so they sent them there. So there was this one room that I remember them telling us that this old man was just very mentally crazy, is what they called him, and he was just saying this weird stuff and gibberish tones and speaking and everything, and they specifically said, don't go into this room when we're investigating. Now, being me, I didn't hear this because I was at the car grabbing some equipment that my family and I bought and we're going to use, so I wasn't there during that speech. I found that out afterwards. So during the investigation, we were walking around, and we got to this one hallway, and I was put in this room that these two little girls used to be in, and everybody else was out in the hallway. And all of a sudden, I heard somebody say, "What was that went into this other room?" And my dad said, "Dylan, come out here." So I went out there, and he said, "Go into this room." I said, "What? Why?" He goes, "I don't know. They said they saw something." So I go into this room, and I kid you not, as soon as I walked through that doorway, just this feeling of get out took over me, and that somebody did not want me there and something bad was going to happen, just like how you felt, Jeremiah, probably, right?
Pretty
So
much,
yeah, so the way the room was built was you walk in, you have the seating area, the table, and then you take a sharp right when you enter through the room, and there's the bed. So I walk in, and I turn to the right, and I don't know if it was just my eyes playing tricks on me or not, because it was pretty dark, but it looked like something was on top of the bed that looked like how a spider stands kind of look, like with its legs bent and its body just like standing there in the middle kind of thing. And it was moving side to side, more of like a crab, I would say, of how a crab would, like, you know, sway back and forth. It kind of looked like that, but just very frightening looking. So I literally bolted out of there. I said, "Why did you make me go in there?" And they said that they saw something crawling on the ceiling in that room, and I had no idea about that. And my dad just sent me in this room, and I said I saw something on the bed, and the tour guide comes up and she goes, "Did you go inside that room?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "That's the room that we told people not to go in, because that room is considered that there's something called an elemental," they say, where it's not really a ghost of a human, but some type of like spiritual thing that takes form of weird stuff. I don't know, not a demon either, but just some weird thing they called it that is there, because they say that when the old man was alive, he used to do some crazy weird ritual stuff and summon this elemental, and this elemental is only stuck inside this room. It doesn't go anywhere else but inside this room. So the fact that I was in there and I believe myself that I have seen that was really creepy, and having that same feeling as you, Jeremiah, not to go into that room came over me as well. But I fully 100% believe in paranormal. I've had family encounters, I've had weird encounters at places and stuff like that, but I personally 100% believe in it.
So
actually,
oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, both of your stories remind me of a specific event that happened in actually this friend group. I just am not sure who was there because it was a few years back.
I think I know what you're talking about, Cameron.
Who was there for the time in which we were in the hot tub and we started hearing like the jingling of bells?
I remember that.
Yeah, I was there.
Freaking
You were there.
scared
Yeah.
the crap out of me.
Yeah, I remember that.
Eric,
yeah.
were you there?
I think so, yeah.
Eric was there too, yeah.
So I'm gonna tell this very quickly and to the best
I thought it was
of
a
my
wind chime.
yeah, to
Yeah,
the best
I
of my
remember
ability.
hearing
But I this story scares me, and that whole night was a blur because I was so terrified. And for those of you who don't know me precisely, I am very much afraid of the supernatural and of
Man,
the
Wait, can I just cut you real quick, Cam?
Phasmophobia.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cameron cannot play Phasmophobia.
no, the paranormal and supernatural are the two things that really get me very anxious, and I will not be sleeping well
going.
tonight. But we were all in the hot tub just chilling at my house, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning, weekend.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was really late at night, and we're just chilling. It's pitch black out.
Oh,
So
my God.
we're talking, and we hear this almost like a wind chimes, like mini cowbells going off. And at first we're like, oh, it is a little breezy. They're probably wind chimes. Except they get closer, and it goes from the sound of like almost wind chimes to like somebody scraping a fence.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it
I
went
believe
from
so,
like
yeah.
a deeper sound to like slowly getting closer and more crisp. And I still even to this day try to put it off as, oh, it was the neighbor's dogs, right? Oh, something was rolling around in the grass, but I don't believe that. It felt like it was getting closer and closer, and there was a fence on the far end of my yard, and the sound just kept getting closer and closer to the point where I was like, this is not at the fence anymore. This is closer than the fence. And we all jumped out of the hot tub, bolted into my garage, didn't even cover the hot tub up, locked the door. I sprinted down to the basement and didn't walk up until the next day because I was like, no, that I can't do that.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was, to this day, the scariest moment of my life. And we didn't see anything. We can't confirm anything. It was just that noise haunts me to this day. I don't go in the hot tub at night anymore unless I'm with people because
There was another night, Cameron. I don't know if you remember, but it was a different group of people were hanging out, and it was at the park near my house.
Yeah, Wendigo. I remember that.
What's that? I don't know. Anyway, but we were over there, and one of our friends was like, he was like doing some weird stuff,
It's like
acting weird.
This is Jackson.
No,
No.
it wasn't.
I'm just kidding.
no.
It's like acted weird and stuff, and then I just got the most uneasy feeling, and I looked into the forest, and I didn't see anything, but like there was something there. I don't know how to explain it. I didn't see any like corporeal being, but like I could just see, I just knew something was there, and it was the weirdest, it was the most uncomfortable, the most terrifying feeling in my life. I don't get scared very easily. I love watching like horror movies and stuff, but like in that moment I was just like terrified for no reason. Like I talked to everyone else that was there, and they all felt it. Like I kind of like, I don't remember if I pointed it out or not, if someone else pointed it out.
So James, I was there that night. I remember. I definitely, I think around the same time that you felt it, I was just uneasy. Like I don't know that I looked into the woods or had that feeling that something was there around the same time, because I remember us bolting off together.
Yeah.
Because I was just feeling uneasy. Now, granted, I do believe Eric was right in that the person who was there, that you were explaining was kind of acting a little odd, was talking about the Wendigo.
Yeah, that was like the topic. It was all about the Wendigo.
And he was trying to convince us that it was the Wendigo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember that part, because that was kind of afterwards when we were in your basement.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Dude.
But that was terrifying as well.
Have y'all read up on the Wendigo?
No, and I would very much not like to.
Dude,
Yeah, it's pretty
freaking
interesting.
weird.
Yeah, I've heard
Weird
about
stuff. If you guys ever play the game Until Dawn,
No.
such a good game. It isn't all about it, but like a big majority of the game is about the Wendigo, and it's weird, but it's really
So
cool.
the mystical Wendigo is certainly interesting, but what's more interesting to me is its basis in reality.
Oh
so-
no, yeah.
So the general, the original origins of the Wendigo myth came from Native Americans, and the general concept was that the Wendigo was simply a cannibal, but one that had almost religious-like attachment to cannibalism. And obviously the myth evolved into a mystical man-eating creature, but the chances that the myth was spurred on by actual legitimate cannibals is extremely likely.
creepy.
That's terrifying.
I just
And-
wanted to say too, like personal experiences as well. Like what got me into
personal
the
experiences with cannibals.
No, not with cannibalism. With the paranormal, I meant
Oh, okay.
was like what actually got me inspired and interested in the paranormal was what my mom used to say. Um, Back then, what my great uncle passed away before I got to meet him. But the stories that like my grandma and my mom told about him, he was like a great guy. He just did bad things, unfortunately. But my mom said that when he passed away, it felt like he never left. My great grandmother used to have this little light in her window, and my great uncle, I guess, lived at her house, and when he was home in the basement, he would turn this light on, knowing that, hey, I'm home, so if you hear noises in the basement, it's me. So the day of his death, she turned that light off, never to turn it back on again, I know. So one night, this was like a few days after he died, my grandma, my mom, and my great grandmother go out to eat somewhere, and they come back to drop off my great grandmother, and that light is on in the window. And my mom goes, Grams, why did you turn the light on? She says, I didn't. I don't know what you're talking about. And the light was on. So they go inside and they're looking around, and everything seems perfectly normal. So they were like, all right, that's a bit weird. And that's just the beginning. So my mom used to stay at my great grandmother's house as she was being watched by her. And they were sitting upstairs, and all of a sudden the dryer just turns on by itself in the basement. So my mom was like, did you have laundry going on downstairs? And she says, no, I don't know why it's going. So they go down there and it's on, so they turn it off. They go back upstairs, and as soon as they get up the stairs, every single cabinet in their kitchen is open. Like every cabinet, she said, was open in her kitchen.
Cabinet.
Grandpa was just looking
and-
for a snack.
No, yeah, but like they both went down there. They were the only two in the house. They came up, every cabinet was open. So my mom would tell my dad this, and he didn't believe it. He's like, I don't believe any of this. Like something blah blah.
Full of
So
shit.
they go to their house. They go to my great grandmother's house. My mom, my dad, my grandma, they're just hanging out. And my dad's sitting there on the couch. They're talking, and he has his glasses on the coffee table, and he's talking about something. And then he pauses and looks, and the glasses were moving slightly by themselves. And my dad is just like staring at it, and it stops. So then he's like, all right, that was a bit weird. So he goes to leave with my mom out the back door, and my cousin was little at the time, used to have toys at my great grandmother's house that he used to play with and stuff to keep him occupied. And those toys were pushed off to the side so people can walk and stuff. So my dad goes to go open the door, and all the toys are pushed up against the door. And he left without saying anything, and he gets in the car with my mom and goes, are those toys there when we got here? She goes, nope, I told you, weird stuff happens here. And that's what inspired me to get into the paranormal, of the stories that my mom told me and stuff, and the stuff that happens even at my house to this day. There's weird stuff that happens here, but we hopefully think it's all just family related stuff, that there's family spirits here, stuff like that.
So hold on, question. It was your grandpa that you were talking about, yeah? Or your
My
uncle?
great uncle.
Your great
uncle,
uncle.
yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
your great uncle, he died, and then he literally just went, it's prank time, baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what he used to do. He used to prank everybody when he was alive. He used to be like the fun, cheery guy and stuff, but unfortunately he had a dark background that he did. But literally when he died and when he was doing all that stuff, it was like he never left. It was crazy. That's what my mom said, at least. I'm quoting her. But at my house though, we've had stuff where we come home and one of the lights are turned on upstairs, and we're kind of like, all right, we didn't leave the light on, so why is that on? There's been times where our dryer even went on by itself. That was pretty creepy. And my room is right next to the laundry room, so I'm sitting on my bed and it goes off, scared the crap out of me. What else? Weird noises too, that kind of stuff. So, but other than that, like I said, I believe in the paranormal. So I don't know about you guys, but
I like the stories. This podcast is running a little long, so I would like to conclude with a final thing. Who here is a flat earther?
100%.
oh,
Honestly, yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, totally do.
That's
Makes
a joke.
sense.
No.
Oh yeah.
No.
I prefer
they
talking about
proved it
real
with,
issues, Cameron.
And like the water argument is, proof enough. If you pour water, over like a round object like an apple, the water just all falls off.
Shut
But if
up.
you pour
Okay.
water on a plate,
I don't know, guys.
stays there,
Tyler has
'cause-
a point.
Oh
'cause
yeah,
that-
Tyler, dude.
like,
yeah, that-
the oceans are literal proof, man, but the government doesn't want you to know. And the moon is a projection, by the way. The moon
Oh,
isn't
don't
real.
no.
The moon isn't real. It's a projection by the government.
Oh my god.
Dude, the lunar landings were all staged. You know that, right?
Yeah, just
No,
as
see,
moon
I don't believe
propaganda.
Have you guys
just
seen
moon
the
propaganda.
short film from 1903, Un Voyage dans la Lune? I got a bunch of old dudes in top hats and business coats get into a rocket and fly to the moon to fight exploding green men. And
Okay,
then
no. But
and
that
then-
is true. Like, that actually happened.
wait, what?
Yeah.
I can't
Man, I thought I was watching a fiction film. Hold on.
No. That was a documentary.
Oh. So wait, when one of the astronauts takes a rope, ties it to the rocket, and flies behind the rocket back to Earth,
Yep.
Oh,
that-
yeah.
that's legit.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Dude, that's
Oh
And
my
also,
God.
Cowboys versus Aliens. You know that movie? Yeah, that was all based on real events.
no, that's bullshit.
No,
I'd
me
like
too.
I'd like to take some time and move
Cowboys
away
aren't
from-
real. Listen, sorry. Cowboys are not real.
I don't know what you're
Uh,
saying.
Clint Eastwood is real. I'd like to take some time and move away from satirical topics. I had a serious
Oh,
one
no. Oh no.
that I've been thinking about
Okay.
quite a bit.
This is gonna be dumb.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
follow the Instagram page and I liked the Facebook, but so you know it's real. Birds,
Like
dude.
birds.
Oh,
Yeah.
birds on the power
Birds are
line.
not
Yes,
real.
birds
Yeah,
are
they
not
sit on
real.
power lines to recharge.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've seen that, dude.
They are,
I've
they are
seen-
government surveillance due to in the 1960s. They like exterminated all the birds, and then there were real birds at some point.
Yeah.
And then
Wait, what
They've
about
all
birds that we
been
eat
replaced.
though? Like chicken.
Fake.
That's just it's fake. It's fake.
It's fake.
It's all like
Well, I
it's
don't know.
actually
I don't know
other
that
meat
the
that
government
they
has
call.
replaced chickens.
So would
I
you
don't
say
know
that?
why.
Would you say that natural
If it
flora and
flies, it
fauna birds?
spies.
Ah,
If it flies, it spies.
There you
That's
go.
the
Yeah.
motto.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I like that idea. Yeah.
So
Listen,
like
do you
chickens.
Do you guys not remember the pigeon that saluted Vladimir Putin?
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
I do remember
yeah,
that. I love
yeah.
that video. Proof.
excuse
Proof.
me.
There's a
You-
video
you
of a
haven't seen
pigeon
that,
in
Cam?
Russia
Bro, have you not seen that?
that
video?
salutes Vladimir Putin when he sticks his hand out and his
Yeah.
wing comes up and salutes to him. It's obviously real.
Yeah, there's
Bro,
no way.
I gotta-
Like the footage is so grainy, it has to be real.
It has to be real, dude. There's no
Yes.
possible way. By
So
the way,
if there's
can I just say
anything-
something really quick? That
Oh yeah.
in the stream chat when we were talking about scary stuff, in the stream chat somebody put an actual like jump scare thing that's actually scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, same.
I was not expecting that, and that's why I kind of jumped in.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to conclude our conspiracy theory episode, just keep in mind, Dylan is haunted. The moon is fake, with the exception of our fight with aliens. Aliens are real, and cowboys aren't.
Have a good
Also,
week.
the Titanic never sank.
Holy crap! Oh my gosh!
It was the gift, wasn't it? It was the gift.
It was the gift. Yeah.
Alright.
Sweet
Have a
dreams,
great week,
everybody.
y'all.
Hopefully you don't get too scared.
Good week.
Bye.
See y'all.